Good day to you all. Today I am going to do the chapter 21 of the grade 7 government syllabus, ratios. Let us first see what a ratio is. A ratio is a numerical relationship between two or more quantities expressed in similar units. Earlier also we have discussed about numerical relationship, that is equations. Now here, for it to be a ratio, there should be two or more quantities. That means minimum there should be two quantities. And of course, these two sides should be in same units. Let us further look into this by an example. This is the most common instance you use ratios in your day-to-day life. To make a fruit juice, you have to take 2 parts of the juice and mix it with 3 parts of water. So here we can make a ratio. That means 2 parts of fruit juice is mixed with 3 parts of water. So the ratio comes as 2:3. Well, there are 2 ways of reading these ratios. We can either call them 2:3 or 2:3. This what do you call this? Colon mark is very important when expressing ratio. Colon mark is the tool we use to separate the digits. Here, and 2 and 3 are called the terms of the ratio. And also you must keep in mind when writing the ratio, we are just explaining how the ratio comes, with what the ratio comes. In here, of course, ratio comes between fruit juice and water. 2 parts of fruit juice is added to 3 parts of water. So, what we read first, the value should come first. That means here, because we use 2 parts of fruit juice, first we write here 2, 3 parts of water, here we write 3. Instead, if we are just swapping this, if we say 3 parts of water to 2 parts of fruit juice, then we should write the ratio as 3:2. Now let's see another example. I am using this to use 3 values as well as to explain you what an equivalent ratio is. When the terms of a given ratio are multiplied by the same positive whole number, we get an equivalent ratio. That means this, for instance, take 1:3. This can be equivalent to 3:9. How it comes? Because this is the simplest form. How to check whether this is the simplest form? That means this cannot be further divided. 1 cannot be further divided because 1 is the last answer of anything. That means any whole number. So if we can't divide one of the terms, any one of the terms in the ratio further, that means that comes to the simplest form. So here you see 3 also. 3 is also a prime number, so it has factors of 1 and 3 only. So this cannot be further divided. Actually, we can divide by 3, but 1 cannot be divided by 3. So this is the smallest one, simplest ratio. We call it as simplest ratio. We have divided it by, multiplied this simplest ratio by 2, and we have obtained 2:6. So this is an equivalent ratio to 1:3. Similarly, we can multiply this ratio by any number and obtain an equivalent ratio. If we are multiplying one side of the ratio by some number, the other side also, the other term also should be multiplied by the same number, as if in an equation. Now we are going to form a ratio between 3 elements. Up to this point we have discussed about 2 elements. Now we are going to discuss about 3 elements. To make a concrete mixture, we have to add 1 part of cement, 3 parts of sand and 4 parts of granites. Now how we are going to express this in ratio? We can say 1:3:4. Now if we multiply this ratio by 2, we get here, initially we have 1 cement. If we multiply it by 2, we get 2 cement parts. Here 3 sand parts. If we multiply this by 2, we get 6 sand parts. Here 4 granite parts. If we multiply this by 2, we get 8 granite parts. So how the ratio comes as 2:6:8. So this ratio is equivalent to the initial ratio 1:3:4. Always a ratio should be written such that its terms are whole numbers and that cannot be simplified further. That is the best way to write a ratio. We can write an equivalent form, there's no harm, but the best thing to do is to write it in the simplest form. If the terms of a given ratio are whole numbers and if the highest common factor of the terms is 1, then the ratio is said to be in the simplest form. When the terms of the ratio are whole numbers, to write the ratio in its simplest form, check whether the term have common factors. What are common factors? I think you can remember what are common factors. If the terms have common factors, then divide each term of the ratio by the highest common factor of the terms. I hope you can remember how to find highest common factors. Let's look into these by examples. Now let's see the example 1. We have to write a ratio equivalent to 4:1:6. Earlier also we discussed how to write a equivalent ratio. Okay, now we are going to write the equivalent ratio by multiplying all these terms in the ratio by 3. We get then 12:3:18. Now we have an equivalent ratio. We have to convert it into the simplest form. To do that, we have to find the highest common factor of these. You know how to find the highest common factor. So here at a glance we can see this, all these terms can be divided by 4. Obviously, see, if we divide 8 by 4, we get the answer as 2. 4 by 4, we get the answer as 1. 12 by 4, we get the answer as 2. So the simplest form of this 8:4:12 ratio is 2:1:3. Let's look into another example. The sides of a triangle are 8 centimeters, 6 centimeters. Let me read it again. The sides of a triangle are 8 centimeters. One side is 8 centimeters. The other side is 6 centimeters 5 millimeters. And the next side is 50 millimeters. Here you see these are given in 2 types of units, centimeters as well as millimeters. In the beginning of the lesson, I told you to make a ratio, all the parameters should be, all the terms should be in the same unit. So it is better we have to convert this into units, into a similar units. We must do that. So it's better to convert to the smallest unit, as I always say you. So the smallest unit among centimeters and millimeters is, what is it? Millimeters. So let's convert all these 3 sides to millimeters. 8 centimeters means 10 centimeters. If we convert to millimeters, we have to multiply it by 10. So 8 centimeters is equal to 80 millimeters. 6 centimeters is equal to 60 millimeters, and there is a 5 millimeters also, so we get the answer 65 millimeters. 50, yeah, it is in millimeters. Now we get the ratio 80 is to 65 is to 50. They have also said to find it in the simplest form. So at a glance you can see we can divide all these three terms by 5. So divide them by 5. 80 when we divide by 5, we get the answer as 16. 65 when we divide by 5 is 13. 50 divided by 5 is 10. Can these three terms be divided further? No, it is impossible. So this is the simplest form. Now let's see how to divide a given quantity in a ratio. Let's read out this example. Cement, sand and granite in a concrete mixture are in the ratio 1:3:4. Find the quantities of cement, sand and granite in 16 cubic meters of concrete. To do this, we have to find how much this together give. That means how much can this concrete mixture in the simplest form make. See, ratio of cement to sand to granite is 1:3:4. Total number of parts. To do that, we have to add each elements in this ratio together. 1 plus 3 plus 4, we get 8. Size of 8 parts is 16 cubic meters. Size of a single part, size of 16 parts means, yeah, they have given it is 16 cubic meters. So size of a single part, to do that we have to divide the 16 by 8. You get 2 cubic meters. Number of parts of cement is, yeah, 1. Quantity of cement is, we have to multiply this by 2. Size of a single part. So quantity of cement in 16 cubic meters is 2 cubic meters. Sand is 3. We have to multiply this by 2 cubic meters. Then quantity of sand in 16 cubic meters of concrete is 6 cubic meters. Then parts of granite 4. We have to multiply by 2 cubic meters. Then we get the answer as 8 cubic meters. If your answer is correct, the addition of these three should be equal to 16 cubic meters. If you couldn't understand this explanation properly, please leave a comment. I will explain it to you further. Next, let's see calculating the total amount when the amount of one item in a ratio is given. Ratio of girls to boys in a class is 3:2. If the number of girls in the class is 24, we have to find how many students are there in the class. Ratio of girls to boys is 3:2. Number of parts of girls in the class is 3. Actually, there are 24 girls. Since the number of students in 3 parts is 24, number of students in 1 part, how we are going to find? We are going to divide 24 by 3. We get the answer as 8. Then total number of parts, how we obtain? We add the elements in the, we add the terms in the ratios. 3 plus 2 is 5. So number of students, total students is, we have to multiply 8 by 5, you get 40. Are you doubting that how we are obtaining this? that means students in one part. Well, if some quantity is given, this is the simplest form. So what we have to do is this one in this three side we have to convert to 24. කියන්නේ මේ 3 තියෙන පැත්ත අපි 24ක් කරගන්න ඕනේ. 3 තියෙන පැත්ත 24ක් කරගන්න we have to multiply this by 8. Then similarly we have to multiply this by this two side also by 8. Then what do we get? That's the answer. 2 into 8 is 16. 16 plus 24 is 40. So that is the total number of students. When the amount related to one term in a ratio is given, determining the other amounts. Okay, let's see this one also. The ratio in which a sum of money was divided between Siam and Kandan is 2:3. If Siam received 300 rupees, let us find how much money Kandan received. Here, the two side is the money is divided between Siam and Kandan. So 2 belongs to Siam, 3 belongs to Kandan. Two side we should make it 300. To make it 300, from what amount we should multiply this to? Yeah, we have to multiply this side by 150. How did I get it? Yeah, I have divided this 300 by 2. That means 150 is the units value. I mean value of one part. If we found the value of one part, is it a big deal to find the value of 3 parts? No. So just simply multiply this 150 rupees by 3. You get the answer as 450. Okay. We have come to the end of the session. Before that, I will summarize the lesson. Multiplying or dividing the terms of a given ratio by a fixed number gives an equivalent ratio. If it is in the simplest form, we have to multiply it, or if it is in an equivalent form, to obtain the simplest form, we have to divide that ratio. If all the terms of a ratio are whole numbers and if the highest common factor is 1, the ratio is said to be in its simplest form. The total number of parts of a ratio is the sum of the terms of the ratio. The number of parts of each item in the term is in the ratio associated with that item. For example, a concrete mixture in which cement, sand and granite are mixed in the ratio 3:6:8 has 3 parts of cement, 6 parts of sand and 8 parts of granite. So how to obtain the total parts? We have to add this 3 to 6 to 8. When we add these 3 together, we get the total number of parts as 17. When ingredients are mixed in a given ratio, if the amount of one ingredient or total amount is known, it is possible to find the amount of a single part by dividing the known amount by the relevant number of parts. Thereby, the individual amounts of the other ingredients and the total amount can be determined. That means, if the amount of one part of the ratio is given or the total part is given, we can find the values depicted by those ratios. Okay, thank you for watching. Please do like our videos, subscribe our channel and share these videos with your friends for them to get more knowledge. Stay with us for more of the videos. Thank you.